Hey there, mates. No, just kidding. It's Nay here. Yes, I did a presentation, but before I get started, I'm going to explain my shirt, which is also part of my presentation. I made this shirt, and I feel like it explains my social identity. Hashtag surviving. These are the things that I've been surviving in life, and most of you all probably been surviving the same things. So let me get started. Hashtag surviving racism. As a black person, I'm out here surviving. As you know, racism going on in the world today is self-explanatory. Hashtag surviving oppression. As a black woman in America, I'm surviving that. Going in the work field as a black person, you're probably not getting paid the same as Bobby over there, Johnny over there, Jack and Jill. So you are being oppressed. Also, surviving chronic illnesses. Those are the things that I'll be talking about today. Asthma, scleroderma, multiple sclerosis, vitiligo. Those are some of the things that I'll be talking about. I have other conditions, but those are the main four. I'm out here surviving that as a black woman in America. Also, mental health and I think suicide, those two go hand in hand together. As you age, you go through different experiences. And to me, those things hit you harder and you just need to take a moment and process those things. It's different than when you're a child. So you go through so much that you might deny the mental health. You don't want to say you have depression. You don't go to the doctor to get diagnosed with it, but it's there. No matter what, if you believe it or not, mental health is serious. It's something that a lot of people deal with and are in denial about it. And then you get to a part where suicide becomes a problem. And I'm not saying I'm suicidal or that multiple people are suicidal, but it gets to that point where you want to regain control over your life because as you age, you get lost. And you're like, what's going on in my life? So going back up to chronic illnesses, here I am with this chronic illness and I have my life planned out, but now it's unfocused because this is stopping me from doing what I need to do. So now it's like, what is my purpose in life? I'm not somebody who's tried to commit suicide, but it has been a point where you like, I've done everything, so what's next? What's my purpose? I went to school. I went to high school, graduated college, went and got my master's degree, married. So what else is left? When you hit that rock, you like, what's my purpose in life? So that's why I'm saying mental health and suicide. I'm surviving that because I'm still here today to tell you that story. So you don't need to hotline me. Never try to cut myself. Never try to hang myself. Not suicidal in that way, but it's a thought that has come about for many people. So I think it's great that I'm here now and I'm surviving that. I haven't gotten to that point where I actually attempted and wanted to do it. But I understand it as a social worker, a master's degree social worker. And then overall, life. Hashtag surviving life. So with all these things going on as a human being, I am surviving life overall, and I'm proud of that. So if you like this shirt, if you think it tells your story as well, you can order it from me at MJ's Handicrafts, so just contact me whichever way you have. Now let's get started on my health story. Again, I'm regaining control while surviving life. This is the Nay you all probably remember, the high school Nay. As you can see, I'm a chunky. My weight always fluctuated, so it was never really a problem for me when I go up and down on weight. But this is the chunky Nay that you guys remember, right? As you can see, chunky, arms, boom, guns, hair all jacked up, don't worry about that. But thick, like I was always a thicker person. That was July 2013. Graduated from college, moved on to LA, served for city year in Los Angeles, and I was still chunky, thick girl. As time went on, I moved to St. Louis, slimmed up a little bit, as you can see, stopped police brutality. I was out there protesting, had the energy. You know, I don't know what it was in LA, but I had slimmed up by the time I got to St. Louis in 2014. Then here we are in 2018 in Boston, Massachusetts. Weight came back, got my little, I think they call it fupa now or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm not that hip. But my weight came back. My feet is swollen. My legs are swollen. Things are happening. It's not just me eating. It's things going on with my body at this point. But to me, I'm like, you know, I'm also have history of being a chunky girl, so I was never bothered by the weight gain. I was still that thick girl with chinky eyes. So here I am in NOLA, July, and again, I'm still thick, but I'm rocking it. I was okay with it. I'm cool with it. That's me. This is where I start to slim down and the questions start to come. Oh, what are you doing to lose that weight? You know, what kind of things are you doing? And so at this point, it's like, no, I'm not. I'm not doing drugs. Like, no, I'm not on heroin. No, I didn't have any surgery. No, I'm not popping any pills. Life is just changing, and I'm not really sure why the weight is going either, but it's going. And I guess at this point, I'm loving it. Then we get to this point. I'm learning more about my health. Got this little owl figure. No hair, no fat. Loving it. But at the same time, I'm trying to understand what's going on with my life. So that's the process. You go from thick girl to slim girl. How did we get there? We're going to find out. Before we get there, again, as you can see in my face, it's chunky. This was the girl that I remembered, the chunky girl. Thick thighs, chinky eyes. That was my little thing from MySpace and everything. Like, I was a chinky person. This is the person that I remember. The clear face. That's my undergraduate picture. That's my master's picture. But that's no longer who I'm presented as. These people are still here. Like, that's still me. I'm still Nay. I'm still Shania. But this is how I'm presented now, as this person. And so I have to become familiar with who this person is. When I look in the mirror, I'm still becoming familiar with who it is, because I remember these girls always posting hashtag no makeup, hashtag beautiful skin. That was me. I always got compliments on my skin. Now when I get compliments, I question it. Like, are you complimenting me just to make me feel better? Like, you feel like I might not feel pretty because I have vitiligo? That's not the case. But thank you for the compliment anyways. So like I said, I stay positive with the thoughts and think that people are complimenting me because they still do think I'm pretty and I have pretty skin, because I do. Like, my skin is still soft. It's just two different colors. But this is the process of Nay. Ta-da! Class time. No, just kidding. I'm not going to read all of this. No need to stop and go to another video. Come back. I'm still here. Listen, I'm just going to tell you the 4 things again of what I'll be talking about. But before I even say that, I just want you to remember that disabilities aren't the same for everybody. Everybody don't look the same. So you have people who say, oh, you know, she don't look sick. Everybody don't look the same. My multiple sclerosis is different from her multiple sclerosis. So remember that as an audience, remember that as a peer, as a friend to others, that everybody is different. Some people say, oh, you know, if she's able to do that today, then she's able to do that tomorrow. That's not true. You know, a lot of people go through different things. So you have to be mindful of those things. Like, just take the time to understand each other. That is my purpose of this video, is so you can learn more about some of the things that I'm going through, and also for my peers to know that it's not easy. I had a lot of youth that I was mentoring who just felt like, what's your story, Nate? Like, you just seem like you just got it all going for yourself. It's great. Like, people compliment me all the time, like, you're a strong person, which I am, but at the same time, I go through a lot, and it's not easy. I don't wake up and just be great. Obama don't wake up and just be Obama. Like, everybody is going through something, and so I want my peers to know these are the things I'm going through, and if I can go through these things and still be an idol to others, then you can too. So again, let me inspire you as well as aspire you. All right. So asthma is about airways. It's about the narrow airways where you're trying to breathe. So as a child, I had that condition, and if you're exercising, you might get tight airways, so you're wheezing and making this sound, and you need your inhaler. So when you see people with an inhaler, that's the asthma coming on. Or they might have something else, but that's why I would have my inhaler. Multiple sclerosis, the best way for me to explain multiple sclerosis is like your brain is a machine. and your brain is talking to the rest of your body. And when you have lesions in your brain, it means that the machine is broken. Parts of the machine is broken. So if I have a lesion in my brain, it could affect my ability to swallow food. It can affect my ability to walk. It can affect my ability to talk. It can affect my ability to move my body, wash my body, things like that, because the brain is not communicating with that part to say, hey, move your arms, hey, swallow, hey, run, hey, dance, things like that, whatever. That's what multiple sclerosis is. That's a good example, in my opinion. If not, again, research, look it up. Scleroderma. Now, scleroderma is about tightening in your tissues. Here it says the word sclera. It's a Greek word, actually, so it means hard. No, sclera means hard, and then derma means skin, so it's hard skin. So my skin is very hard. I can't make a fist. This is as much as I can go with a fist. I can't do prayer hands. This is as far as my hands will stretch. Like, they won't bend anymore. Like, literally won't bend anymore. This is the things that's going on with scleroderma. You'll see how I talk about my knuckles, how they bust open all the time. Just different things like that. Raynaud syndrome, you get that. Things like that. But the main thing is tissue. So your antibodies, the good ones, your good cells, are attacking your bad cells, telling them, be bad with me. So it's like when you have a cut and your cut starts to heal, that's what my body's doing. My body's healing for no reason. I don't have a cut, but that's what the signals are for scleroderma. It's telling my body, heal, heal, heal. So everything's healing tight when it don't need to be. Which is why I lost so much weight, in my opinion. The scleroderma is like a waist trainer. It's tightening all my skin. I got a girdle on all my body. You can't really pinch me. If you try to pinch me here, it's tight. So that's why I started to lose the weight, because my body, my skin started to tighten up all the fat. That's why I'm slim now. Slim thick now. Just kidding. Gotta have some humor in there, right? And the last one I'll talk about is vitiligo. So vitiligo is really the skin pigments that are dead. The skin cells in your body is just dying. So it used to produce this beautiful brown skin color, and it no longer could produce that color. So now it's light. And the same thing with my hair. That's what happened. The skin cells started to die, so then my hair started to fall out. So I just said, cut it all off. Boom. Let it go. All right? So here we are. Timeline. 1990s when I was born, that's like I said, I was diagnosed with the asthma. My mother was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis when I was like 1.5, 2. So here she is helping me with chronic asthma and herself with multiple sclerosis. And when I say chronic asthma, I mean like in the hospital all the time. Like, she still has balloons from people visiting me. It was that bad. I grew up with asthma where people thought I was kidding when I said I couldn't play because I couldn't breathe. But they were like, oh no, you're just fat, like, nah. Like, I didn't get fat until later on in life anyways, when I was like in 3rd, 4th grade, because of all the steroids and stuff. But that was the life of asthma. So here you'll see, this is me on my machine, my nebulizer. This is the machine. So here my mother is with 2 children, multiple sclerosis, and a child with asthma. Again, some people may not think asthma's that serious, but it is. So she's trooping it, or whatever the new slang is now. She's going a long way on public transportation with this machine right here, this big machine, so she can make sure that her daughter can breathe. So she maintained this for 30 years. And that's what I'm saying. If she can maintain this, then that's what makes me drive. Like, if she can do this, I can do this. And that's why you can do it too. If you have some kind of condition, you sit here with a kidney issue, or you might have diabetes or lupus, you can do it. You can still do whatever it is you put your mind to. Don't think you cannot. My mother helped me survive to the age of 30. Here I am, 30 years old. She had me, and she helped me survive asthma through my 30 years. And she was able to do that with 2 kids and this and her multiple sclerosis. Now we jump to 2015. Here I am in St. Louis, and I'm diagnosed with pneumothorax. That's a collapsed lung. So I'm on my way to an appointment because I was having some chest pain. So I go to this appointment, and the doctor does an x-ray, and the doctor says, look at this. You see this? Your lung is down here. It needs to be up here. We're taking you to emergency room right now so you can have emergency surgery. I'm like, what? No, I have class at 3:15. She's like, no, you can't go to class. Do you have a friend or somebody that you can call and can take you to the emergency room? I'm like, well, my homegirl, she's already in class. We had the same class. Let me call another classmate. I call him. He wasn't available to be there at that moment. They said he would take too long, so he ended up meeting me at the emergency room. They called transportation and said take her to the emergency room. I get to the emergency room. My classmate, he's there rooting me on, like supporting me. I shout out to him. I appreciate that he was there in that moment. They decided to wait a while. They put me on some morphine. Whew. That was my first time, I think, having morphine, man. When I'm telling you, morphine have you like on a different cloud. It's just something else. But they put me on some morphine. They will monitor me and wanted to make sure that it was a collapsed lung. So I didn't have the surgery until the next morning after they did another x-ray, and it was still collapsed. And here I am in Missouri by myself, no family, no Auntie Shirley, no Uncle Pete, nobody. Like, it's just me, and I'm about to go under surgery. Like, they putting me to sleep, and I'm having a surgery. So they did call my family. They was on the phone. They updated them. I wake up the next morning. I have this chest tube in my chest. Chest tube, I had to have that in my chest for about 3 days, and then they like kicked me out the hospital. Like, it was just like 1, 2, 3, boom, you good, go home. But just imagine, I was only in St. Louis for 6 months, and here I am having surgery and no family, nobody. But I had built a family when I was there. So when I woke up, I was able to be with co-workers, friends that I made, classmates. It was just a good thing that I had started to build my own family as I was in St. Louis. So shout out to all those people who came to visit me. Shout out to my homegirl who became my sorrow. I became her sorrow. And she came and actually brought me from the hospital to my car to get back home, because it was just like, y'all left my car at the school, all of that. Like, it was just so much. She came up there so many times to visit. My coworkers brought me food. You know, it was just so joyful to know that I had some kind of support, because I didn't have no relatives there. But I survived that. And at this point, we didn't know what was going on. He just told me I had a bad lung, so my lungs collapsed. So in my mind, I'm like, well, I guess, asthma. So that's what happened with that. In 2017, I get married. 6 months after getting married, boom, I get diagnosed with the multiple sclerosis. I got diagnosed with the vitiligo as well. The vitiligo was very simple. I went to see a dermatologist, walked in there, and he looked at my nose, because it was only on my nose at the time. It was just a strip. And he's like, oh, yeah, you got what Michael Jackson had, vitiligo. And I'm like, what's that? He's like, it's just a skin condition. That's why Michael Jackson bleached his whole skin. But you don't have that much. I'm going to prescribe you 2 creams. You're good to go. That was it. And I'm like, that's it? Like, y'all not going to put my skin under a light or something, get some kind of test, nothing. But that's what happened with the vitiligo. With the multiple sclerosis, I started having so many symptoms that I decided to schedule an MRI. I had called the doctor and said that I had a referral from my PCP to have an MRI. And so when I met with the neurologist, he's like, I don't think you have MS. And I'm like, I think I do. Like, there's so many things that's going on with my body. I know this. My mother had this. I remember these things that she was doing, that was going on in her body, now it's going on in my body. And that's the same thing I used to say to her, like, Mom, I think I got MS. She's like, girl, you ain't got no MS. And I'm like, but this is happening. Like, headaches every day, migraines. I took daily medicine throughout high school. And all they did was tell me to walk in a straight line, follow their fingers, things like that. I never had an MRI get into my brain. So for me, I said, I need to know what's going on inside my brain, because when I was in St. Louis, my fingers, my toes, they started to move on their own. And I'm like, this is not normal. Like, this is stuff that my mother was going through. So I'm telling you, I need to have an MRI. So he's like, okay, we're going to do an MRI. Do an MRI. And, you know, you get that bing on your phone. I'm a technology person when it comes to something. So I was registered on my charts. And so I get the notification of my test results are in. I check my test results and it says lesions in the brain presumed to be multiple sclerosis. I'm laying in bed like, told you. I'm not even disappointed. It's like I already prepared myself for this. Like I knew I had multiple sclerosis. I should have been a doctor. Like, it's crazy. So anyways, I'm waiting to see if I'm going to get a call from the doctor so we can talk about my results. A couple of days go by. I called them like, you know, hey, I got these results. Might have multiple sclerosis. Or is anybody going to call me? And so the lady's like, oh, you know, we can schedule an appointment. It's so ironic that this random lady on the phone says, oh, my daughter lives on that street, when I gave her my address. And she was so nice. I'm like, oh, yeah, your daughter lives on that. She actually was right next to me. Her kids used to come over because when she was coming home from work, if she wasn't there, till the kids would come over, we had this whole nice little talk. And then she starts to give me some prayers and blessings, like, you know, because she feel like, oh, this young girl has multiple sclerosis. And she's not really supposed to say anything from the test results either, but she was really nice. That was a cool little story too. So you see my toe right here? My toe is moving on its own. Don't worry about how my toes ain't painted and stuff. Like, it was a bad time. My toe is moving on its own. Those are the nerves. So that's what brought me to the neurologist and said, I need an MRI. I had went to the emergency room. They couldn't figure it out. She's like, oh, I thought you were pregnant and stuff. Like, what? No, I'm not. I'm not in my third trimester pregnant. That's what she thought. They couldn't really figure it out. So they just gave me some water pills to go home and, you know, flush things out. Now we're in 2018. And that's when I get diagnosed with the multiple sclerosis, 6 months after my marriage, my wedding. And then also in 2018, my father passed away. I mean, my mother was a single parent. He wasn't really in my life, but it's still something that happened in my life. And that's why I'm doing this timeline. So as you can see, 1990 to, you know, 2015, some things go on, whatever. Things happen in between here. But the health things that go on, and these are big things that are going on that affects a person's life. So I have asthma, a collapsed lung, 2015. Then by 2017, boom, I get diagnosed with vitiligo. I'm having symptoms. I don't even know what the symptoms are. Boom, next year, I got married, but then I get diagnosed with MS. My father passed away. Can't get to know him anymore. He's gone. Can't meet any grandkids if I had grandkids. Can't meet his other grandkids. You know, he's gone. And then I still have to deal with MS, vitiligo, asthma, got a lung that's just hanging there. You know, these are the things that I'm going through as an adult. How do you process all this all together? Now, here we are in 2019. I get diagnosed with scleroderma. Again, another disease that cannot be cured. And on top of that, I find out I'm pregnant with twins. Yes, I was pregnant with twins while I had scleroderma, multiple sclerosis, vitiligo, collapsed lung, and asthma. Boom, boom, boom. Especially these last three. This is year after year after year. There's a little gap in between here, still with some suffering, but these are the main things. 2017, hit with some stuff. 2018, hit with some stuff. 2019, hit with some stuff. Again, you have to be mindful of the things that people go through. Everybody has a story. You have a story who's watching this. We go through so much, but then we get up and we put on this mask and we like, life is great. It's not always that great. It's not easy to be that strong person. Sometimes being a strong person, you just really want to be the weakest link. I really want to know how I feel to be the loser, the person sitting on the couch, because I have to deal with all of this in one day. You want me to put on this mask and just say I'm great? How are you? And as a social worker, help this other person? Whoo, child. It's a lot, and I'm serious. Like, you have to be mindful when you are working with others, when you're judging others. Everybody has a perception of you. People watching this, everybody knows a different part of me. You know the high school Nay. You know the childhood Nay. You know the sorority Nay. You know the college Nay. You know the work Nay. My friends view me different than my family. My family view me different than my friends and my co-workers and my boss and my sorors. Everybody see you in a different way because that's their perception, and also you may come out as a different person. You code switch is what they say. That's what I learned in Massachusetts and Bridgewater State University where I went, and you code switch. So your perception, the perception that people have of you might be different, and so you just want to make sure that you don't let it blur you as you prosper in life, but also the people who is judging and having those perceptions, don't let it blur you from really getting to know the person, because they're not that same little girl from back in the day. They've been through some things and they've grown up. They're not that same girl from high school because, again, they've grown up, and so on and so on and so on. Message. So, like I said, I was pregnant with twins. Here I am. Ta-da! October 18, 2019. 2 days before my 29th birthday. That's me with carrying my twins. But here's my husband and I. My cousins gave me a gender reveal party on my birthday, which was October 20th. So by October 22nd, I was in a delivery room. So how do you jump from October 20th to October 22nd in a delivery room? I mean, I can go into this story more in depth in another video, but long story short, after my gender reveal, which again, I appreciate my cousins who put this together. Thank you. I appreciate it. I woke up that next morning like, thank you all. Thank you, family. I really appreciate it. Started sending pictures, but I started to have contractions. I thought it might have been Braxton Hicks. Went to take a shower, got out the shower, my water broke, boom. By the time things happened, again, I could go into details in another video. I delivered my twins, which is a boy and a girl. I had my boy first and my girl second, and they didn't make it because I was only 18 weeks. So by October 22nd, I delivered twins, and then by November 5th, I was on my way to the funeral home to pick up their ashes because we got them cremated. So you have all these traumatic things going on in your life, and you have to deal with it. You have to wake up and be great. And now here we are in 2020. So how do I regain control of my life with all this stuff going on? That's when we get to the survival. I'm surviving it. I'm here today. Again, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not suicidal and I'm not giving up. I have moments, yes. Everybody have their days where you just want to stay in bed. You don't want to do anything. Again, you want to be the weakest link, but you got to get up. You got to do it. It's something in me that gives me that drive that say, keep going, Shanann. Keep going. You can do this. You can do this. So here I am in 2020 trying to regain back my control and take on what I was put on this earth to do. Someone said to me, you've never been the person to not know what you wanted to do. I was having this conversation with her, and she said, a relative, actually, a good cousin of mine, and she said, what do you want to do next? And I was like, I really don't know. She's like, that's not you. Because it wasn't me. I was always a go-getter. I knew what I want. I planned out my life. Like I said, I did what I was supposed to do. I went to school, graduated from school, got married, but then I got stuck. I'm like, I got all these conditions. What is next for me? I'm not sure. But then it was like a spark. Boom. I got to get up. And that spark, honestly, it came from personal stories, lived experience, going on Facebook, going on Instagram, going on all these social medias and reading about other people's stories is what really helped push me, because I said I'm not alone. I mean, I learned that I was not alone. And so that's what inspired me and inspired me. I said, let me get motivated and let me share my story as well. I bless people and they don't even know it. I listen to their stories and they become a part of my prayers. The children, I feel like I know the children. Like I see them every day. I think I know the people too. Like you just follow stories and you get familiar with them. But to me, it was very helpful. So somebody's testimony can really help you. And so I hope my testimony can help you get through whatever you're going through, and then for you to also jump on board so you can help somebody, because everybody's story is a little different, and so what you tell might help somebody else. So that's my health story. Again, I just want you all to be able to not judge others, because again, I feel like sometimes you see somebody from high school and you like, dang, you remember Shaquisha from unit such and such, or Shaquisha from room 248, you remember her? Hey, she look a mess or something. You know, I was that person. I want you to know the true story. So this is some of the stuff that's going on with me, but I am a survivor and I'm thriving in life. It's not like I'm dying tomorrow or anything, and that I'm real sick. And you know, I've heard that before too, like, oh, you know, why you didn't tell me that Nate was sick? Like, I'm not sick like that. Like, these are just things that I'm going through. But I hope that you're able to take away from it, that if I could do it, you can do it. Like, here I am living with multiple conditions that are non-curable. Like, you can't cure these shits don't go away. Like, the hair, doctors are still researching them to see what they can do. They want to throw you on all the different medication and see if it works. So we all just dummies out here, test dummies while they trying to figure it out. But at the end of the day, I'm still surviving. So don't take life for granted. Sometimes I feel like, you know, y'all just out here living life like y'all can't die tomorrow. Live it where you can enjoy it, be responsible, but appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. And just take that risk. You know, when I was in LA, we went to church for New Year's Eve, and the pastor said, game changers, risk takers are game changers. That's what he said, and that stuck with me. I know it's a saying that's been out there for a while, but it stuck with me, and I'm like, that's me. I'm a risk taker that's changing the game. Overall, you have to be a risk taker to better your life. Be willing and determined to change the trajectory of your life for the better for you. It took for me to go through some betrayal with friends and family, to go through things with work, my health, all of that was negative vibes, negative behavior, for me to regain control. I had to take back what was mine, because it was taking away my positive pathway that I had. So you have to do the same thing. Don't let this negative behavior, negative barriers get in the way of what you want to do in life. If I can do it with all these human abilities that I'm losing, so can you. So when I say y'all living like you can't die tomorrow, that's what I mean. Do the things that you can do while you can. I'm so glad I was able to go zip lining in Costa Rica. I'll be damned if I try that now. I don't have the grip to do that, so I wouldn't even try it now. But if you got the grip to do that, if you got the ability to swim, go out and enjoy life while you can now, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. People who have been around me, spent time with me, have heard me say, life is short, life's too short, live it while you can. And I mean that. Like, you really have to enjoy life while you can, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So take the time while you have the time and enjoy it. So that's my health story for now. I'll go into more detail later on in other videos. You'll learn more about my health and my pregnancy experiences and why I gained weight and why I look the way I look in my video now. But stay tuned. Thank you for watching.